Hi, today we're going to finish the 2022 practical exam. And just to refresh your memories, actually, I'm not going to go from the paper. I want to show you in NetBeans that we've got a crew member.java class, an object definition class. Then we've got an officer class, which is a child class of the crew member class, and it has an integer called rank and a date promoted. Then we've got our crew member manager class, where we made an array and we read from the text file and then stored the data either as a crew member or as an officer in the CR array. And then we've got our crew member UI.java. So today we're being asked to add a few methods to crew member manager, and that's question 6. If you want to check the rest, the first part of the paper, please refer to the previous video of the 2022 part B and part 1, section B, part 1. Okay, the results of the tests are stored in the text file named testresults.txt. The file contains the crew IDs and test scores of the crew members and officers stored on separate lines. The test center can only access 10 crew members and or officers, producing a text file with exactly 20 lines. Each test result is stored on 2 separate lines, the first for the crew ID, the second for the test score out of 100. And here are the first 6 lines. So you can see there's a line with the crew ID, and there's that 90 is a test score. And it carries on like that. So let's carry on and do exactly what they ask us. 6.1, we've got to add a method, code a method called find crew member to search for a crew member or officer object in the array called CR who has the matching crew ID. The method must accept an integer parameter for the crew ID and return the integer position of the object in the array. So remember, we've got CR, our array of crew members. So we go to the bottom of the class, and just before the end curly brackets, we're going to add our method. So public, and they've told us it's going to return the integer position. So it's an int type method because it returns an integer and must accept an integer parameter. And the method is called find crew member, and in the brackets an integer, and let's just call it CID. So let's just declare an integer, and we'll call it position and set it equal to -1. And then we're going to do a while loop. So while our position is less than size, remember there is a size variable in this class. Actually, I've got find crew member there. I did it just now. I'm going to delete it. Okay. Let's just do that. So while pos is less than size, I'm going to go and look through the array. At every position in the array, I'm going to check whether that crew member has the same ID as this CID. All right, I'm actually going to start at position 0. That's the beginning of the array. So I'm going to say if brackets the array, and in my square brackets, I'm going to put pos. Okay. And then I need to get the crew member ID. So dot get crew ID. I think there is a method like that. I can go and check in my crew member class, get crew ID. There it is. And if that, remember that get crew ID returns an integer. So we're comparing an integer with an integer. So we can use equals equals. If it's equal to CID, then I'm going to return that position. But if I keep, oh, and I must also, sorry, I must increment pos. pos plus plus. Okay. Inside the while loop. But my while loop is going to go right through the array until the end of the array. But if I do find the ID I'm looking for, it terminates the whole method by returning the position. Okay. But if I've gone right through the while loop and not found this ID, then at the end of the while loop, once the while loop is ended, I'm going to return a -1 as a sign that I didn't find that ID. As I'm returning -1 to say, no, there's no such person, no such ID in our array. Okay, that is a technique we often use in programming. All right, now we're going to start with process test results, and this is a very long method, but they take you step by step through the method. You can see you've got 5 marks, 1 mark, 7 marks, and 6 marks, all as part of process test results. But my advice to you is to do it exactly step by step as the explanations go. Don't try and do it all at one go. If you read the whole thing, you can read the whole thing. I'm not going to. I'm going to just read a little bit and then implement that. Read another part, implement that. So code a method named process test results to read all the lines from the text file called test results.txt using an appropriate loop, read the crew ID and test score from the file, from the text file. So I'm not sure yet whether this method will return something. So I'm just going to make it a public void method because I haven't found out yet. Probably if I read the whole thing, it would tell me. I can quickly change it if it must return something. But at the moment, I'm going to make it a void method. And if I want to read from a text file, I need a scanner object. So scanner sc file equals new scanner, new file. And in my brackets, quote, test results.txt. Another bracket. And then I have already done the imports, but if I click on the light bulb, it tells me that I must either add a throws clause or surround statement with try catch. I prefer the try catch. If I put the throws clause, that every time I call process test results, I'm also going to have to put a throws clause there. So just use the try catch, but remember to remove this line. If you triple click 1, 2, 3, it highlights the whole line and you can just put a print statement, file not found. Okay. Now we're going to keep working here because we're busy with the text file and the catch is only going to be right at the bottom. Okay. So we've done, okay, we're still going to read the text file now. There are exactly 20 lines in the text file, but we are going to read in the first line, the crew ID, the second line, the score. So we need to go around the file 10 times. So we need a for loop that if our tab, we need to read 10 times from the text, from the scanner file, the SC file. Okay. So first we're going to go in, let's say CID again equals SC file dot next int. That's to read the integer, the ID, and then again int score, or you can just, yeah, let's call it score equals sc file dot next int. And we've read those two. Let's read the question again. To read all the lines from the text file using the appropriate loop, test the crew ID and test score. So we've done that. We've got our 5 marks there. Now we can carry on with 6.2.1. Determine the position of the crew member or officer in the array called CR using the method you coded in 6.1. So how do we call find crew member? We must put the crew ID in the brackets and it's going to return an integer to us telling us the position in the array. So we're going to go int p for position, or you can say pos again, because remember this is a separate method, so you can call your variable pos again equals find crew member, and in the brackets, the ID, which is the ID that we've just read from the text file. And when we call find crew member with our little CID from below, actually we could just call it CI, so it's less confusing. We've got CI here, and let's call this P, so it's less confusing. You can see they're not the same variable, okay. Well, they aren't because they're in separate methods, but it may be less confusing like this, all right? Okay, so we've done 6.2.1. 6.2.2, using the above position, that's P, check if the related person is an officer. How can we do that? We need to use if C array square brackets P brackets instance of. Now the instance of operator for me, I don't know why they didn't put a capital O there, because that's not camel case. Maybe the person got out on the wrong side of the bed the day he programmed this as part of the Java language. But remember that instance of is an operator. It's not a method. It's like plus or minus, etc. It does something between two variables on the left and right. So instance of, if it's an officer, that's what they want to do. If he's an officer, okay, then we must see, have they met their test requirements indicated in the column called score? So over 75 if they're a rank 1, or over 80 if they're rank 2, and so on. So we're going to put a big if statement here, because if they're an officer, we need to check if they're any of those. And if they have, you're going to use the method called promote that you coded in question 3.8. I think that was the officer class. Look there. Is there a method called promote? Yes. Okay. And to update the officer object by increasing the rank of the officer, increasing the non-promoted officers field. You see that all happens in the method. And setting the date promoted field to the current date. Okay, so that's cool. We just have to call the promote method. But we're first going to have to check if is the score greater than 75 and the rank equal to 1. All right, that could be it. Sorry, not rank. How do I get the rank? I'm going to have to say CR square bracket P dot get rank. Is there such a thing? Let me go and check. There is, all right. So CRP dot get rank, it doesn't look happy. Okay, so I cannot do that because remember that CR is an array of crew member type. And even though this is an officer object, when we first declared CR at the top here, we made it a crew member type array. So we first have to create an officer object from the CR square brackets P object, and then we will be able to use the dot get rank method. All right, so it's quite complicated, but let's do that. So we're going to create another temporary object. So officer, let's call it O, or officer small o equals new, oh no, sorry, equals bracket officer. And then we're going to have CR square bracket P. Now what we're doing here in this line 80, we are casting CR square brackets P. Remember, CR square brackets P is a crew member type of object. But by casting it, by putting bracket, officer bracket in front of it, I'm mutating it. I'm changing it into an officer object and putting it, storing it there in O. And now instead of CR square brackets P there, I'm going to just use O.getRank. And you see now, everything's fine. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to have, if the score is over 75 and the rank is 1, or brackets, if the score is greater than 80 and O.getRank equals 2, or you know where the or sign is here, above the enter, and score is greater than 85 and O.getRank equals 3, or brackets, score greater than 90 and O.getRank equals 4. If it's any of those, then I know that the person needs to be promoted. Okay, what's this funny little bracket doing here? Oh, that's fine. We'll leave it there. Okay, so if either of these 4 is true, then I must use the method called promote. So I'm going to say O.promote, bracket, bracket, semicolon. Let's look where the promote method is. It's just a void method that increments the rank, puts the current date into date promoted, and increments non-promoted officers. But I've done that with O, this little object called O. Okay, now I must store O back into CR square brackets P. CR P equals O. So there we go. And so now our that is fine. I think that's all we have to do in step A. Okay. And then we can go on to step B. A crew member. So if he is a crew member, so if he's not an officer, here we've got if CRP instance officer. If he's not, so it's going to be the else. Okay. If he's a crew member and has met the test requirements. Okay, and what would the crew member test requirements be? Sure, do you remember those? I think we better go back to the top of the exam where they told us. Where was it? Over here. A crew member must achieve at least 75 to be promoted to an officer with the rank of 1 and titled ensign. Okay, so we've just got to check if he's got more than, or she, more than 75. Okay. So the else part, check if the related person is an officer. We've done that. Okay, if he's a crew member and has met the test requirements, the crew member must be promoted to an officer with a rank of 1 and today's date. The crew member object in the array must be changed to an officer object with crew member's details, a rank of 1 and today's date. Increment the static /class non-promoted crew field you created in question 2.2. So let's do it step by step. The crew member must be promoted to an officer. So the crew member object in the array must be changed to an officer object. Officer, let's just call it O again, equals new officer. And we want to use CR square brackets P dot get the ID, or is it crew member ID, bracket, bracket, comma. Let's look there. What else do we have to get? Get full name. Oh, his full name comes first. Sorry. Full name. Let's look here. We need the full name, then the crew ID, then the department. That's all part of crew member. Okay, so let's go back there. Oh, that's not, did I make a mistake there? Crew ID, not crew member ID. Right. And then CRP, copy and paste, get full name. Actually, that's supposed to come first, isn't it? So I'm cutting it there, pasting it there, comma. And then we want CRP dot get department. I've made a mistake with get full name. Is it a small n? Okay. Sometimes if you try and save, it helps. Nope. Okay. And then, oh, there it came right. Okay. And then we want, let's go back to the officer class. You see, we've got to keep checking. Have we got everything? In FN, full name. In CID, crew member ID, we've got. In DT, that's the department. What else do we need? We need the rank. The rank we've been told must be 1. Okay, so we're going to put a 1 there. And then we need today's date. So we're going to put a local date dot now. So comma 1, comma local date dot now bracket bracket. Okay, so that's our officer object. And now I'm going to store this into the crew member, the CR square brackets, P equals O. Okay, that's great. So the crew member, let's just read again that check we've done everything. A crew member has met the test requirements. Yes. Oh, we haven't checked that. Hey, it's if score is greater than 75, should be greater than or equal to. Actually, these should all be greater than or equal to. Hey, let me put all the equal signs there. If that is the case, then we come here. Then we promote him to an officer, hey, and has met the test requirements. So the crew member must be promoted to an officer with a rank of 1 and today's date. The crew member object in the array must be changed to an officer object with the crew member's details, a rank of 1, today's date. Increment the static class field non-promoted crew that you created. We haven't done that yet. Now, if it's a static field, then it belongs to the crew member class. So we've got to go crew member dot num promoted crew plus plus, like that. Okay. Remember, because it's static, we don't go CR square brackets P, and it's a public variable. So we can work on it from here. So crew member, it belongs to the crew member class. Let's see it. There it is. Public static int non-promoted crew. So we are incrementing that here. All right, let's Alt-Shift F to tidy things up. Don't forget to do that often, because your code can get messy, especially when you've got lots of ifs and else's like going on like here. All right, so we're on to 6.2.3. The method should return a string containing a list of the names of all crew members and officers who took the test. So we haven't got that. We've got ours as void. We're going to have to change it to a string type method. And then I'm going to clear a string at the top. And this is going to be, what shall I call the string? Containing all the lists who took the test. Let's call it test. Okay. Or just test. I like something not too long to type all the time. Hey, okay. And we'll just set it equal to the empty string, quote, quote. Add the label crew member or officer, depending on if the member is a crew member or an officer. So at the place where we go, if CR square brackets P instance of officer, the first thing I'm going to do here is say test because he's an officer now, I'm going to say test equals test plus officer. Okay. And down here in the else part, I'll say test equals test plus, quote, crew member. I want it as one word. Okay. Done that part. If the person passed, include the words has passed and is promoted to after their name, their new title, and rank. Okay, so over here, we've got all the ones that passed and over here as well. Let's first do it for the officers. I'm going to say test equals test plus, and I'm going to get their name. So O dot get full name plus, and then we want, what else do they want? Their name, their new title. Oh, we better do it after the promotion. Hey, their new title. Let's move that one line down. Okay, Alt Shift F to tidy. So we want the title. So we're going to go O dot get title. I think we made a method like that. Plus, we'll have to fill in some spaces in between afterwards. Let's just look at, did we get rank? We made that get title method, didn't we? Where is it? There it is. Okay, get title. What else? Their new title and their rank. And then O dot get rank, bracket, bracket. Okay, let's just put in a few spaces. Actually, I'll put a space here and a space here. And plus quote, space, quote. And here, good. There, okay. So we've got that. If the person failed, so we're going to need, there's the if for if they passed. Do you see it starts there and ends there if they did pass? And I'm going to have an else for that part. And so else, these ones failed, then include the message has failed after their name. Oh, I see. This goes regardless of whether they passed or failed. So all of this should come here. No, not there, here. Okay. Oh, but we don't have O yet. I have to have CR. Actually, oh, I'm going to move it under here. There we go. Okay. I'm sorry, this is a little bit messy. Okay, and we just need to add over here, if they've passed, has passed, and is promoted to. Oh, and then the new title comes. Right. So at the top, we just say officer and their full name. Then when we test whether they've passed or failed, if they passed, we promote them, and then we add to that line that we're going to return at the end, test plus has passed and is promoted to. We get his title, we get his rank, and then we better put a plus quote backslash n on the end. All right. But if he's failed, we need to say has failed. So we're going to say test equals test plus quote space has failed. All right. Okay. And lastly, if the person is a captain, display their name and message participated in the test. Ooh, all right. Where should we put that? I think it won't be here. So we should put an else here. Else if o.get rank. Oh, but he's already been promoted there. We should put it here. If o.get rank equals 5 as a captain. Hey, let's scroll back. 5. Then we need to say test equals test plus quote captain. There you go. And so we don't need to add that. Yeah. So if they don't pass, then they've failed, and we say has failed. And if they're a crew member, then we need to also add their name. So we need to go plus CR square brackets P dot get full name plus quote space quote. Okay. Why are we getting problems here now? Right. String cannot be converted to int. I'm not sure about what's going on there. We'll fix it in a moment. Lastly, if the person is a captain. Okay, so we've done everything. Now I've just created a new problem here. I'm not sure why. Let's see, get full name. We're getting the full name there. We're getting the full name again. Get crew ID, get full. Something very strange gone wrong there. Let's just click save. Okay, that sorted that out. Sometimes NetBeans gets into muddles and it thinks there's an error when there's no error. Just click save, and sometimes it sort of redigests everything and it fixes your problem. Right, so that's fine. Now we're ready to test our work. So in the crew member UE class, call the process test results method and display the list. So let's go back to crew member UE. I'm going to comment out that one because I just want to test this process test results method now. So I'm going to print that cmm.process test results, bracket, brackets, and let's run it and see what we get, if anything. A bit scary. That's such a complicated method. Nope. Seems like there are errors. Okay. Let's go and have a look. Oh, I think maybe my closing brackets gotten lost. Let's Alt Shift F. Yeah, there's a problem here that matches. Oh, I forgot to return. Return test. Okay, Alt Shift F. That looks better. Okay. There you go. The error's gone. Run it again. And there you go. Let's check that our data matches there. Officer Taylor Wenzel has passed and is promoted to Lieutenant Commander rank 3. Officer Bonky LaRue passed. Commander, okay. Officer, oops, I'm not. Oh dear, there's something a bit messy here. Okay, there I've got a bit of a problem. Let's look at that. I think I forgot to add a \n on the end here. Oh, I hadn't actually finished. The has passed and is promoted to. Okay. We've got to finish it here. Test equals test plus has passed and is promoted to ensign. I think that's the lowest one. Hey, let's just check. Yeah, in sign. All right. And don't forget the \n. Okay, let's try again. Okay, and signed. Oh, after failed, I also forgot to put a \n. Right, so it's got problems here. Do you see how important testing is? Oh, and we also need to say has failed over here. All right, let's put an else has failed. We need the same line. Wonder if there's a more elegant way I could have done this. Anyway, I think with all these ifs and elses, it's a bit messy. Right, now that looks better. Officer Kobus Koch has failed. Officer Eben Pimpy Pollard failed. Parson is promoted to ensign. Oh, it should say ensign rank 1. But anyway, yeah, it's looking pretty good now. Okay, so here we should have rank 1. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the end of the test. It wasn't that bad. Okay, it wasn't, it's not, it's a funny method. It's long, isn't it? Very long method. But if you tackle it one little piece at a time, you can see that you can get through it. So I hope you can practice this again and enjoy and get it to work. And please let me know if there are any videos you'd like me to do.